to the channel and to another video. Sorry, it's been a while since we've uploaded a video. We've been quite busy with projects in the shop and haven't really found the time to do any filming and editing. But we do have another P1800 to restore. The one behind me is Tonya's one that we did a 3-part episode on that you guys seem to really like on the channel. So we're going to give you a little show around this and then show you the one that we've got coming in from Keith from Wild Classics. So the car is currently at Wild Classics and Keith is getting it stripped down for us. It's going to come with the running gear on so we can then remove that, mount it to a dolly before it goes off to be soda blasted. This is a full inside and out job similar to what Tonya's was done. It's not going quite to the extent of all the levelling and customisation this one's gone through, but it does require quite a lot of new panels. From first inspection, it looks like it's going to need both rear quarters, front wings and front and back panel. So we're going to get some braces made up. So once we've cut those panels off and it goes on the rotisserie, there's no movement. We've recently just done another P1800 with all new panels on. And the panels at first sort of test fit don't look too bad, but they do require quite a lot of modification to fit. So this one should hopefully be quite a good video for you guys. Right, so that's the car now all stripped down, ready to go to the soda blasters. We've cut off all the exterior panels because we knew they were going to be replaced anyways. We do this quickly so we can then inspect those inner panels, and of course if the inner panels are showing signs of rust as well, we can just cut the whole section out. Luckily I think we're going to be able to save quite a few of the inner panels. The main area of concern is going to be that inner sill section that runs along the edges of the floor pans. It's gone at the fronts, middles and back as well, so it's probably going to be easier to just cut that whole section out and replace it. So we've added a few extra braces in as well. We've also removed all the sound deadening because that's always a bit of a pig for the soda blaster to remove, and you can see a lot of the rust is actually underneath that on the floor pans. So yeah, it's not actually as bad as what we thought it was going to be. The previous one we've just done was a lot harder to do because someone had already got at it beforehand, and trying to sort out other people's bodges and bits like that when they've attempted to repair the panels makes life a lot harder, whereas this is actually all original. So yeah, let's see what we get back from the blasters. Bradley from A&B Transporters is going to come pick up this morning. He's your go-to man if you want enclosed transportation, and then we get this back in a few days, get it into epoxy, and then we can of course start the metalwork. Bradley from A&B Transporters, currently unstrapping it. I've been told it's not too bad. So, I mean, we have cut off most of the bad bits on it. So let's get her unloaded in the workshop on the rotisserie and then ready for some epoxy. Right, so the car's now in the booth. It's just gone through a bake cycle. We've mounted it to the rotisserie and we're going to now put it into epoxy primer. We've masked off a lot of the edges where we're going to be spot welding new panels to. In the areas that need repair panels put in, we just mask it out a patch, so of course we don't epoxy over them because it's just got to come straight back off again. It would be ideal if you could really leave it just bare metal while you do your welding work, but of course a lot of the time you can't stop dampness in the air and you don't want it to start surface rusting, so it's always safer to put it into epoxy primer. And because we've got all those panels cut off, at least then you know all the insides of the inner panels are all into epoxy primer. So yeah, it's all masked up. I'm just about to mix up some epoxy. We'll put probably 2 coats on and then we can get started on the metalwork. Right, so the car behind me is now all in epoxy primer. This stuff is so important to use when you're doing your restorations because of course while you're going through all those stages of doing your filler work or any little bits of metal work that we're doing like on this, you know it's got that corrosion protection, you've got no moisture seeping through or causing rust anywhere. Of course we do all our filler work over the top of this as well. So we've run through our first dry fit of the new panels, except the boot lid and the back panels, we're still waiting on those items. We've got the front panel off at the moment just while we work on getting the wings fitted up into place. The front panel on these is what requires most work. They just don't fit that nice up to the new wings and to the bonnet edge, so they do require quite a bit of work to get a nice consistent panel gap and flush fitment. But let me take you through a little bit on the wings to show you what we're working with here. You can see here that we've managed to panel this edge back round and get quite a nice consistent panel gap. Same with going all the way down. We have got a consistent 5mm panel gap all the way along. We've just marked here where we need to add some material to bring this up to 5mm. The other side is unfortunately where a bit more work is required. You can see here we've got a nice consistent panel gap, but when it comes up to here, you can see the shape of this wing is just completely wrong. We've got to file out some of this bonnet edge to get us a nice 5mm panel gap. We've shifted the bonnet around as much as we can to adjust it, but we've got a nice 5mm gap here, same on that other side there. So the more you move it around to try and get this gap better, you're going to be affecting both of those. It's better to localise it to one corner. So what we're going to do is cut around this section, move it back to get ourselves that nice panel gap. We've also got to panel it down because it does sit up a little bit too high, and then we can re-weld it, treat all that weld behind with epoxy primer before we then get up to getting these panels fitted. So let's get to it.
Got so much weight on my shoulders, enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns. You got a glimpse, and you can't resist, luring you in closer. Guess I got a jinx. You want honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand.
So it's going to give you a little run through to show what you come up against when you do these P1800s, of how bad the panel fit is, as well as how much gapping is actually needed to do. So let's go take a look. This here is the rear light cluster unit. You can see there's a lot of panel work to do to actually get these all lining up nicely. So now we've got this clamped on, we're going to mark it and get it cut, because you can't fit the quarters until you've got this back panel on, because they slot in together down here and spot weld. So that area is not too bad. We've still got some repairs to do in this little boot shut, and then we've got a paint stripper at the back of it because they all come powder coated for some reason, which of course you don't want to paint over. Again, you can see here all of the shapes just don't line up, so there is quite a bit of work involved there. These have already been panelled around to actually fit onto the car, so we've got a nice seam running down here. But if we move round to the doors, this back edge isn't too bad. We've got too big a gap up here which needs material adding. Door hangs out the edge of the quarter here, so that needs panelling in, and then a bit of gapping down here. This is where it gets a bit interesting. So we've got a very tight gap up the top there. The wings do normally come with a little bit of an overhang here that you trim and cut into place, but you can see here this gap is just almost non-existent. Then it all flares out here, which I did on the last one we did. And we get a little tight round in that corner, but overall it's not too bad. It is the other side that is a lot worse. See here, very small gap. And we're actually touching the quarter panel here, and the same all down the bottom. We have no panel gap realistically here. Too wide a gap down the bottom, and even the front we've had to panel out already because we couldn't actually open the door once it was fitted. So they all seem to have this little recess here, and this is an old stock wing as well, so we're hoping we're going to have a little bit better fitment, but turns out we're not. You can see here we've still got a bit of overhang. So we've got to try and pull that door edge out, because we want to get all the panels flush before we move on to our filler levelling. This one's going to be quite a concourse build we're going for. It's not going to the level that the red one that we did for Tonya is going, so it's not being fully levelled and flat and polished to that superior standard. But every restoration we do here has got to have flush panel fitment and consistent panel gaps, so that is sort of just your given whenever we restore a car here. And then Josh is going to get all the rear end welded on today, and then I'm going to start working on this front panel, which I know from past experiences is a real pain. So let's get to it.
Got so much I need to cover. All the lies I lied, been with me for too long. Got anxious and not over. Got the man I was, correct what I did wrong. You got a glimpse, and you can't resist. you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again.
Right, so behind me the car is now all re-epoxied. We've gone through all those areas that have been welded to give them a couple of coats of epoxy, and then gone over the rest of the car once as well, just to give that extra bit of protection. While it's on the rotisserie, we're going to get it up on its side, get all the underside seam sealed. This is such an important stage because one, it only not neatens up the underside, but it protects it, of course, from any moisture getting into any of those panel joints or seams. We tend to do it so it's a flush sealer, so it all gets wiped into the joint, so you can't really see it. Anyone that does all that thick, horrible texture, it's a lot quicker, but I personally think that it's disgusting, so it's not what we do on our restos here. We're then going to get it back onto its frame, get all the panels fitted back up so we can start going through the filler leveling process to sharpen up all those panel lines and shuts and everything like that before we then move on to polyester spray filler. polyester it like this because you can get all the way around those shuts then. We will do it with the doors on. We are able to open them and just get down that back edge. And then of course, once all the polyester is blocked in, we'll have all the panels off to do high build primer. So we're going to get it all masked up now. I've got my own little helper down here. Anna, you gonna say hello? I don't think she's really going to be doing too much at the minute, but yeah, so let's get this masked up. Right, so the car's all masked up, ready to go now. We're going to put the booth on a quick bake cycle just to get all the temperature up in here. This will help draw out any moisture that is, of course, in the filler. We always find this is an effective way to go anyway. And then we're going to go in with a wet and wet epoxy first to cover up any of these metal edges, and then go on with 3 or 4 coats of polyester spray filler. We're using the full Novel for Classic Car range on this. It's a one-stop range from start to finish using the same products designed just for classic cars. Spray filler is such an important stage because you get that maximum build when you're going for straight panels, and you get the benefits of no product shrinkage. You've got to seal it before you go on with your top coat paint, of course. You'll see once this is applied the build that you get to it, and it gives you a nice amount of product ready to sculpt, ready for your final paint. So let's get some spray filler mixed up, get this degreased, and then get it sprayed. Cheers! Like that. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what it looks like.
Well, I wasn't ready. Say hello. You say hiya. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. That went in the wrong way.
Yeah, picking the doors.
So the car we've got coming in from Keith is a Volvo. A few new panels on it. No, fuck that up already. Jesus Christ. Doug, what do you think about the car? Doug?
Go away. You putting it on? You okay?
Right, so the P1800 coming in from you twat. No.
What do you have to say?
I've got to film this. No.